Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and I'm joined by Kingsley Edwards, CEO of Flote.app, and this is an emergency message to all of you watching right now. We need to get off of the mainstream tech platforms. As many of you might know, World Alternative Media will be leaving YouTube by November 5th, 2020. Remember, the 5th of November, we will be off of the YouTube platform, only posting trailers to our full videos exclusively on Flote.app, BitChute, and LBRY, especially Flote. So I want everyone to go and join us on Flote.app. The link is below in the description. I hope you guys check it out. Let's get into this a little bit, Kingsley. There has been a lot of news lately, like this one out of Fox News that says Donald Trump Jr. blasts tech giants over a report that Facebook, Twitter censor anti-Biden posts. We also have news like this one. The Babylon Bee stings Twitter CEO after account was briefly suspended. The Babylon Bee obviously is a satirical website, and they're saying that posts by satirical websites, comedy is off limits for children on Twitter, yet there's hardcore porn on Twitter, there's mass murder on Twitter, and that's okay for children, but the Babylon Bee, totally off limits. Let's talk a little bit about censorship, Kingsley. Flote.app obviously was developed as a way to be censorship resistant and be useful for not just creators, but the average person. Can you go into what Flote.app is for those that this is the first time they're hearing about it?
Yeah, so Flote is a social network that pretty much operates the way that other social media giants, now the big tech, big tech social platforms, because I think everybody can get behind not liking big tech pretty much now. But the way that they used to operate, where people could share their thoughts and opinions and discuss and comment on things freely, and now it's just gotten to the point where, all these things that don't make any sense, like the Babylon Bee or jokes or whatever it may be, are getting censored more and more. We have people that are joining Flote that are posting their screenshots from Facebook. Oh, I just, got banned for 30 days on Facebook for making a random political post, or a joke on Twitter, or saying the wrong thing, talking about, current events on YouTube. And now we see more and more of these types of people, not even just like big, influencers that are on these, these big tech social platforms, but even just smaller, average mom and pops that are just, posting things that they see, or even sharing posts now can get you censored or put into timeouts, into big tech timeout. Mm-hmm. So with Flote, we're just a place where you can still, just like you can in average day human life, talk freely with others, connect with others and connect with people and topics that matter, that are consistently being more censored every day, in and out. So it's crazy to me to see, every day we see the big tech shooting themselves in the foot, basically, and making the wrong choices and hiring more people to censor their own community for ideas that just aren't that controversial. So
right, I don't even think that they care that much about money as much as power at this point, because they're throwing their money out the window. And obviously these big tech companies, the FANG stocks, etc., they depend on growing constantly in order to survive with the size and scope of themselves, and obviously they haven't been able to. It's crazy to see things like, I'm not a Trump supporter or anything, but someone will say, I like this thing that Trump says, and the post will just be taken down off of Facebook. Or for example, myself, they've taken down tons of my videos. They've deleted Press for Truth off of Facebook or off of YouTube. He is on Flote, of course, but over like ridiculous things. They took down one of my videos where I mentioned the news story by CNN that George Floyd had coronavirus when he died, and I'm like, that's kind of a crazy story to see in the news, and I got my video taken down for that. I wasn't insulting anyone. I wasn't saying it was right or wrong. I'm just like reporting the news. That's the thing is, this year the news has been Jeffrey Epstein, the wildfires in Australia, Iran, coronavirus, George Floyd, and the election. And all of those things, except for the Australia wildfires, you're not allowed to talk about. You're not allowed to talk about as a news channel on YouTube. Well, you are able to talk about that on Flote, and I should mention some of the people that are on Flote.app, including Del Bigtree, Press for Truth, We Are Change, James Corbett, Sam Tripoli, Bryan Foerster, Ron Gibson in the Infowars channel, Ryan Hartwig, G. Edward Griffin, Derek Bros, Dollar Vigilante, Naomi Brockwell, Patrick Smith of Disenthrall, Tim Truth, Rethinking the Dollar, Police the Police, Free Thought Project, and so many more people. I'm sorry if I missed anyone. There's so many people that are joining Flote because they're seeing it as an opportunity to actually be able to reach an audience or just see the people, be a part of the audience and see the stuff, the content from the people they like. So I always go through a little spiel which when it comes to Flote, because it's the easiest way to really make you aware of what it really is. It's replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging. You've got live streams where you have super chats where you can use cryptocurrency to tip people on the live chat. And obviously you have these live streams. A lot of people are doing their live shows on Flote now, including Del Bigtree, and the InfoWars channel is on Flote live pretty much every day. It seems almost all day. And you know, we have Ernest Hancock doing similar stuff as well. I mean, there's so many people moving over there for that perspective. And also there's no algorithm on the news feed, so you see what you want to see on the news feed. You see the posts you want to see, and it's natural. It's a natural fluctuation of posts rather than you know, some algorithm that only allows you to see what the people at Flote want you to see. Flote just lets you see what you want to see. So Kingsley, I want to bring up this executive order that came out a couple months ago. It says executive order on preventing online censorship. A lot of people were really excited about this executive order. I don't believe government is going to solve problems of government and censorship and, you know, groupthink and that kind of stuff. With that said, you know, the executive order didn't really do anything especially good. In fact, it actually could make it more difficult for smaller companies like yourself to survive in this kind of landscape. Can you go into a little bit of what you know about the executive order and you know, just the effect it has on small social media platforms that are kind of rising up?
Yeah, you know, the most important part of, like, when you evaluate stuff like this is always realize where the government is always coming from. So typically, you always want to question things and take a second look. And as always, you know, when I went through this, it has been a couple months since I reviewed this, but just remembering back, you know, I realized that it basically didn't even address like the real problem. You know, it seems like obviously it's going to empower governments to have more of a say in how online companies, not even social companies, but just online companies, period, are able to build their tech where it's censorship resistant and you're able to share your thoughts freely. And also, you know, it's from what I remember, I mean, even with big tech, it didn't even seem like it really struck them down. So just like with any type of government, you know, policy or regulation that they propose, usually it's the exact opposite of what the headline is, either whether it's an article, the actual title of the regulation itself. And this seems to be a case again where, you know, people are like, oh, government's going to be doing something, and then when it actually is implemented, it has the exact opposite effect, or even worse than it was before. So yeah.
Well, and obviously we are in the craziest time in modern human history, possibly ever. I mean, I can't even, you can't really sum up 2020 very well without just kind of shaking your head and going, well, I still don't know what's going on. But with that said, I think it's more important than ever to get free information out there, and they're tackling and breaking down this free information and you know, relentlessly stopping information from getting out in the most important time to get out information. And they're easily bring it down to like Trump versus Biden, or left versus right, or racism versus social justice warriors, and it's just like clashing people against each other, distracting them from the real problems, and misdirecting people. And it's like the perfect Orwellianism that we're witnessing right now. And right now, it's really important that we get this information out. So, I mean, going forward, guys, we are on Flote. Go follow us I'm at Josh Sigurdson, JoshSigurdson. Of course, Kingsley is at King on Flote. We have all the other people that I mentioned earlier on Flote. Go follow us there, because we're gonna be off YouTube very, 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 very soon. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to November 5th. I mean, Max Egan's on there as well, and Max Egan was recently kicked off of YouTube. You have you know, all these other people, Press for Truth, and who else has been kicked off of YouTube lately? I mean, it seemed like a lot of people have been booted off of YouTube without any explanation. They don't even have any strikes on their account. They just take them down. So with that said, I mean, it's never been more important important to go to these platforms. As we go forward, Kingsley, with all of the crazy stuff in the news and potential boogaloo happening right away here, we're already kind of in a civil war. They're talking about, world wars. It's just so insane. They're cracking down on the most basic individual freedoms. How important is something like Flote in the midst of this madness going forward?
Well, we need a secure platform to communicate, with each other, with, whether it's friends, family, your community, whatever, and to organize. And that's what we're really hoping, Flote can be, and what we're building, what we're striving for is to build that platform that you can trust and have, founders that you can trust and a team that you can trust. And know that we're growing. Every day we just onboarded some more developers this week that we're really excited about. So we have features that we're going to be building that I think you guys will be very excited about. We're going to progressively decentralizing, so it becomes more out of the hands of even the team, but more on the rely on the technology. We're looking to open source. So, there's a lot of things down the pipeline. I think this year is going to be, it already has been great for us as far as picking up more and more, content creators and just users in general and those followers. But it's just so important, now more than ever to just support, even just by creating an account, which takes us, 2 seconds, create an account, check it out, check in, once per week or whatever, follow some people that you like. I'm sure you're going to find people and topics that you feel are important that may be censored on the big tech platforms. So yeah, and I guarantee, eventually it's going to get to the point where if you don't get off the big tech platforms, or you just stay on those and not the smaller guys like Flotes, then it seems like you're just gonna be talking to yourself, because every day we just see more and more signs of people just putting their post out there on Facebook or tweeting on Twitter or having a YouTube video and not even like outright censorship, but being shadow banned or I have zero engagement from this post. It's crazy kind of what's happening here, and they're literally trying to attack free speech online, and Flote is one of those places where you can still have your voice and it still matters.
I actually find myself getting more traction in many cases on Flote than I do on Facebook, with far less people on Flote, though I'm coming up on 4,000 followers right away on Flote. So we are actually growing real fast. And, I've been completely demonetized because they wrote into the YouTube terms of service, the World Health Organization, if you criticize it, you get demonetized. And they warned me about it, and I kept doing it because obviously I stand for the truth. So they took my monetization away, and I have been dealing with nothing more, like just nothing but money issues ever since. So, there's ways that you can pledge on Flote as well. Obviously, you can pledge in Bitcoin on Flote, so you can check that out. We really appreciate it. I'm also at Wham as well. I have my World Alternative Media channel on there, and I have my personal Josh Sigurdson channel on there. But, going forward, I also recommend people check out, if you are someone that's interested in helping fund something like Flote, and I wasn't told to say this, I'm just saying this by my own means because I think it's important. These businesses, whether it be Flote or BitChute or LBRY, they need money in order to grow. If all the problems that we see on these sites now, the minor little glitches or bandwidth issues or whatever it might be, stems from not enough money going into it. Or you have to remember, these big tech platforms have billions and billions of dollars that they use very unwisely, by the way, and for the stupidest things. A small amount of money I've seen that's gone into Flote, the amount of stuff that you've done with Flote in that time has been amazing. I haven't seen anyone else be able to get by on such a small cap. So I really think it's important that people, if you're interested in investing, contact me in the comments or something like that. There's lots of opportunities coming forward on being able to make these alternative social medias the new guard and replace the old guard. And it takes people's support, not just with money, but just by going on the website, getting an account, telling your friends, sharing things, and staying on the platform and engaging with people on the platform. Add complete strangers that look like they might be interesting to you and talk with them and have a community. The community is growing really fast on Flote. I'm really excited about it. Anyway, I really appreciate you joining us, Kingsley. We will be continuing to update you on all this because, again, we will not be on YouTube much longer. So check those links below for ways to help, and go join us on Flote. USOnFlote.app. Any final words, Kingsley, as we close this off, as far as what you think people watching should do?
You should go to joinflote.com. So joinflote.com, and like I said, sign an account if you don't have one already. If you do have an account, check in with your account if you don't check there often, and talk with some cool people, because we have a great community there, and a lot of the things like we mentioned that are being censored on big tech platforms, you will now see on Flote, and we have I think 4 24/7 channels now, which is really cool to see. A lot of people starting to stream 24/7, or just doing their videos here and there. So again, just be a part of this community and just help, really help. Just by joining or being a part of what we're doing, you're really you're helping save free speech online, because that is what's being attacked right now. And that's it's so important, because especially like you said, with all the important things coming down the pipeline, where when it comes to politics or just just personal health, we need right now, it's more important than ever for the free speech to flow between people to people, and for communities to be able to express themselves freely. So thank you, appreciate it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And finally, hit that like button and join us on our newsletter at www.iamband.com. I appreciate everyone joining us today. Check those links below. There's lots of links that you can check out, support, and join us on other platforms. Anyway, until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson with Kingsley Edwards, signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. My friends, it is go time. We are completely demonetized on YouTube, and we depend on the viewer to stay alive and spread the message of freedom and truth. So check those links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, anything you guys could do to help keep independent media alive helps enormously in helping spread this message to the masses. So make sure to check those links. Donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen or below. We really appreciate anything you could do to keep us alive. You could check those links below for CoinTree as well, where you can find other cryptocurrencies that you can donate and keep WAM alive. Find us on flote.app, flote.app, as well as BitChute and LBRY and Minds. We're on all the other platforms. We are leaving YouTube soon, so make sure to find us at those sites, because it's the only way we can keep talking to you, the masses, the great people that actually care about the future of free humanity. Also, join our new newsletter at www.iamband.com. Anything helps at this point, guys. We need to support free information online. This is the most difficult time in our history, and it takes a lot of hard work to keep our message alive in the face of great evils that have taken over the propaganda news on television as well as on YouTube, where YouTube decides what you can or cannot see. We need your help, my friends. So I really appreciate anything you guys can do. Check those links. There's many ways you can help. Until next time, though, thanks, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.